The night shift at Memorial Hospital had been brutal. 3 emergencies, 1 crash cart, and 12 hours on my feet. All I wanted was to collapse into my bed and sleep until my next shift. Instead, I stood in the doorway of my childhood bedroom, staring at the empty space where my life used to be. My bed was gone. My dresser, my books, my photos, everything. Even the pale blue curtains I'd hung myself last summer had vanished. The walls were bare except for the fading outlines where my medical school acceptance letter had hung proudly for the past 5 years. I'm Olivia Martinez, 28, and until this moment, I thought I had everything figured out. Work hard, help family, build a future. Simple, right? I've been a registered nurse for 6 years, pulling double shifts and weekend rotations while living at home to help my parents with their mortgage. Every month, I handed over $2,000. Rent, they called it, though it was more than their monthly mortgage payment. It's the responsible thing to do, Mom had said when they first proposed it. You're working now, making good money. You should contribute. And I agreed. After all, they'd supported me through nursing school, letting me live at home so I could focus on my studies. Paying them back seemed fair. My phone buzzed in my scrubs pocket. Dad's text lit up the screen. Your sister Katie needs the room more than you. She's moving in with the kids next week. You make enough to rent somewhere else. I sat down hard on the bare floor, my hospital bag sliding off my shoulder. Katie. Of course it was Katie, my 32-year-old sister who'd never held a job longer than 6 months, who'd had 3 failed marriages, and who always landed back on her feet, usually by landing on someone else's. Another text. We moved your things to the garage. Take what you need. Katie's bringing a bedroom set from her apartment. The garage, like I was storage, like 6 years of supporting this household meant nothing. My hands shook as I typed back. You could have warned me. I just worked 12 hours. Where am I supposed to sleep? The response came quickly. Don't be dramatic. You can sleep on the couch tonight. Katie needs stability right now. Her ex is being difficult about child support. Difficult about child support. I almost laughed. Katie's ex was being difficult because Katie had maxed out their joint credit cards before leaving him, just like she'd done with husband number 2 and husband number 1. I stood up slowly, my body aching from the long shift, and made my way to the garage. There, piled haphazardly in a corner, was my life. Boxes of medical textbooks I'd studied from. Photo albums documenting my graduation, my first day at the hospital, the celebration when I paid off my student loans. My grandmother's quilt, thrown carelessly over a stack of storage bins. As I stood there, something inside me shifted. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was the final straw. I pulled out my phone again and opened my banking app. For the first time in 6 years, I really looked at the numbers. $2,000 a month in rent for 72 months. That's $144,000 I paid my parents. Out of curiosity, I Googled their mortgage information. Public records are fascinating things. They'd refinanced 5 years ago. Their monthly payment was $1,200. I'd been paying their entire mortgage plus $800 extra every month for 6 years. My hands weren't shaking anymore as I opened my notes app and started calculating. Beyond the rent, there were the groceries I bought weekly, the utilities I paid when they were short, the home repairs I'd funded. New roof last year, $15,000. Water heater replacement, $3,000. Property taxes when Dad's business had a slow month, $6,000. The total made me sit down on a dusty garden chair, $198,000. I paid my parents nearly $200,000 while living in my childhood bedroom, the same bedroom they just emptied for Katie. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time. Don't forget you promised to help with the property taxes next month, and Katie might need help with the kids' school supplies. I stared at the message for a long moment, then I opened my browser and typed average house price followed by our zip code. The results made something click in my brain. The house had been remortgaged 5 years ago for $180,000. I paid them $198,000 since then. I owned this house. Not legally, not on paper, but in real dollars and cents I paid for it. Every penny. My phone buzzed one more time. Dad again. Be quiet when you come in. Katie's settling the kids in your room. I looked at my pile of belongings, then at my phone, then at the garage door leading to the house I'd unknowingly bought. Something cold and calm settled over me. No, I typed back. I won't be quiet, and I won't be sleeping on the couch. Then I called the one person who could help me make sense of all this, my best friend from nursing school, who'd gone on to become a real estate lawyer. Mia, I said when she answered, remember how you always said I was being taken advantage of? I need your help. I need to know my options, because I think I just realized something that's going to change everything. Give me 30 minutes, she replied, fully awake despite the early hour. Don't do anything yet. Don't let them know what you've figured out. I'll bring coffee and my laptop. We're going to fix this. I ended the call and looked around the garage again, seeing it with new eyes. 6 years of being the responsible one had taught me a lot about responsibility. Now it was time to teach my family the same lesson. I sat down next to my grandmother's quilt and opened a new note on my phone. At the top, I typed property laws in Illinois. Below that, tenant rights. And finally, proof of ownership through payment. The sun was rising outside the garage windows. My shift had ended, but my real work was just beginning. Mia arrived exactly 30 minutes later, carrying 2 large coffees and her briefcase. She took one look at my face in the garage's fluorescent lighting and set everything down. Show me everything, she said, pulling out her laptop. Every payment, every receipt, every text message. For the next hour, we pieced together my financial history. Maya created spreadsheets while I dug through my email archives, finding electronic receipts for house repairs, screenshots of payment confirmations, even photos I'd taken of handwritten checks before handing them over. Olivia, Maya said finally, turning her laptop screen toward me, this is insane. You haven't just been paying rent. You've been paying their mortgage, their taxes, their insurance, and their maintenance costs, plus an extra $800 monthly that they can't account for. Where did that money go? I rubbed my temples, fighting exhaustion. I don't know. I just gave them what they asked for. They said it was fair market rent. Fair market rent? Mia snorted. In this neighborhood? For a bedroom? Maybe $800 total, not $2,000. And tenants don't pay for new roofs or property taxes. Owners do. She typed something else into her spreadsheet. There's more. The timing of their refinance, it's interesting. They remortgaged the house right when you started working. The new loan amount was almost exactly what they owed on the original mortgage. It's like they planned this, I finished. Like they knew I'd be making good money and decided to make it my responsibility. My phone buzzed again. Katie, this time. The kids need new beds. Mom said to ask you about helping with the cost. What time will you be home? I showed Mia the message. Her expression hardened. Okay, she said, pulling out a legal pad. Here's what we're going to do. First, we document everything. Then, we're going to have a conversation about equitable interest and constructive trusts. In English, please, I said, managing a small smile. I've been awake for 30 hours. It means that even though your name isn't on the deed, you may have a legal claim to this property. You can paying for it, maintaining it, investing in it. Under Illinois law, that means something. She started writing rapidly. We need bank statements showing your payments, receipts for all major repairs, any written communications about financial arrangements, and, she paused, looking up at me, we need to know if you're ready for this fight, because it's going to get ugly. Before I could answer, we heard the back door open. Mom's voice carried across the garage. Olivia, are you in here? Katie needs help moving some furniture. Mia grabbed my arm before I could respond. Don't, she whispered. Not yet. Let me file the paperwork first. But Mom was already pushing open the garage door. She stopped short when she saw Mia. Oh, she said, her eyes darting between us. I didn't realize you had company. Katie's kids need their beds set up, Olivia. And since you're already up. I looked at my mother, really looked at her. She was wearing new jewelry, designer shoes I knew cost at least $500. All while I worked 60-hour weeks and handed over my paychecks. No, I said quietly. Excuse me. I said no, Mom. I'm not helping Katie set up furniture in my room. The room I've been paying for. Actually, the house I've been paying for. Mom's face went through several expressions before settling on dismissive. Don't be ridiculous. You pay rent, like any adult should. This is our house. Mrs. Martinez, Mia interjected, standing up. I'm Mia Anderson, real estate attorney. We should talk about the nearly $200,000 your daughter has invested in this property. Mom's face went pale. This is a family matter, she said stiffly. It doesn't concern you. Actually, Maya replied, holding up her legal pad, as Olivia's attorney, it very much concerns me. Especially the part where you've been collecting excess payments without proper documentation or legal basis. I watched my mother's expression change as the implications sank in. She took a step back, then another. I need to talk to your father, she said, and hurried out of the garage. Well, Maya said, turning to me. That went about as expected. Ready for phase 2. I nodded, feeling oddly calm. What's phase 2? We file a legal notice of interest in the property. Then we request an emergency injunction to prevent them from making any changes to the living arrangements or ownership without court approval. She started packing up her laptop. And Olivia? Don't give them another penny. Not for taxes, not for Katie's kids, not for anything. I could hear voices rising in the house now. Katie's high-pitched protests, Dad's deeper rumble. Where am I supposed to go? I asked, suddenly feeling the weight of it all. I have another shift tomorrow night. Mia zipped up her briefcase. My spare room is yours for as long as you need it. But first, she pulled out her phone. We're calling a locksmith. We're getting your belongings into storage, and then we're serving your parents with papers that will make their heads spin. The garage door burst open again. This time it was Katie, her face red with anger. What is wrong with you? She shrieked. Mom's crying. The kids need a stable home. How can you be so selfish? I stood up slowly, my nurse's calm taking over. Katie, when was the last time you paid rent anywhere? Or bought groceries? Or contributed to anything? I have children. Yes, you do. 3 children from 3 marriages. And every time things get tough, you come running home to Mom and Dad. Except it's not Mom and Dad paying for it anymore, is it? It's been me, all along. Katie's mouth opened and closed several times. Behind her, I could see Mom and Dad hovering in the doorway. We took care of you, Dad said gruffly. Put a roof over your head. This is how you repay us. No, Dad, I replied, picking up my grandmother's quilt. I repaid you with $198,000. And now I think it's time we talked about what that means. I turned to Mia. Let's go. I need sleep before we start phase 2. As we walked to her car, I could hear Katie wailing about unfairness and Mom making frantic phone calls. But for the first time in years, I didn't turn back to fix their problems. I'd learned something important in nursing. Sometimes healing requires surgery. Cutting away the diseased tissue hurts, but it's necessary for recovery. It was time to heal my own life, even if I had to cut away some family to do it. 3 days after moving into Mia's spare room, the text messages started. Not from my parents, they'd gone surprisingly quiet after receiving the legal notice, but from every other family member in our extended circle. Aunt Teresa, how could you do this to your parents, after everything they've done for you? Cousin Michael, your sister's kids need a home. Don't be heartless. Uncle Rob, your mother can't stop crying. Is this how we raised you? I showed the latest batch to Mia over breakfast before my evening shift. They're coordinating, she said, buttering her toast. Your parents are orchestrating a guilt campaign. Classic manipulation tactic. But here's what they don't know yet. She slid a folder across the table. Inside was a detailed financial report. Mia's firm had traced my parents' banking records, all public information, due to the legal filing. What I saw made my coffee go cold in my hand. The extra $800 I paid monthly, nearly $58,000 over 6 years, hadn't gone to home maintenance or taxes. It had been transferred directly to Katie's personal account, every month, like clockwork. They were using you to support Katie all along, Mia said quietly. The mortgage payment was $1,200. Property taxes and insurance, another $400 quarterly. Everything else went straight to your sister. I felt oddly calm as another piece of the puzzle clicked into place. That's why they refinanced when I started working. They knew my nursing salary could cover everything, their mortgage and Katie's lifestyle. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Katie herself. The kids keep asking where Aunt Olivia is. How can you abandon them like this? They need new school clothes. I started to type a response, but Mia stopped me. Don't engage. Not yet. Because there's more. She pulled out another document. Remember that new roof you paid for? $15,000? I nodded. Look at this building permit application. The permit showed a cost of $8,000 for the roof replacement. They overcharged you, Mia said. Probably split the difference with the contractor. Same with the water heater and most other repairs. We're still tracking down all the receipts, but conservatively, they skimmed at least $20,000 off the top of home repairs you funded. I should have felt angry. Instead, I felt something closer to pity. How long had they been planning this? How many family dinners had they sat through, watching me work double shifts, knowing they were bleeding me dry? My phone lit up with a call from Mom. First direct contact in 3 days. Mia nodded. Time to face this. Hello, Mom. Olivia, this has gone far enough. Her voice was tight, controlled. Drop this ridiculous legal nonsense and come home. We can work something out. Like what, Mom? Another payment plan. More rent to support Katie. Silence on the other end. Then, we're your family. Everything we did was for family. No, I said, surprising myself with my steadiness. Everything you did was for Katie. I was just the ATM. That's not fair. We gave you a home. I pay for that home. Every penny of it. And then some. Want to talk about the roof scam? Or should we discuss the monthly transfers to Katie's account? More silence. Then in a completely different tone. What do you want? Excuse me? To make this go away. What do you want? We could sign over 20% of the house. Maybe 25. I looked at Mia, who was already shaking her head. Mom, I've paid for more than 100% of the current value of the house. Let's talk about that instead. You ungrateful. Mom caught herself. Fine, if that's how you want to play this. But remember, if you push this, everyone will know what kind of daughter you really are. Abandoning your family, leaving your sister and her children homeless. No, Mom, Katie's not homeless. She has a perfectly good apartment. The same apartment she's been living in while you funneled my money to her account every month. The apartment she's pretending to leave just to guilt me. I heard a sharp intake of breath on the other end. Direct hit. How did you? Public records, Mom. Lease agreements are public records. Katie's been in the same place for 2 years, rent paid on time every month. With my money. So let's stop pretending this is about finding her a home. The line went dead. Mia was already typing on her laptop. That call was exactly what we needed. Their counteroffer of partial ownership proves they acknowledge your claim. And the attempted manipulation about Katie's housing situation. Perfect setup for showing pattern and intent. I stood up, straightening my scrubs. I have to get to work. 12-hour shift in the ICU. You sure you're okay to work? We can request a continuance on the filing. I picked up my hospital bag. I'm better than okay. You know what we say in nursing? Healing isn't always comfortable. Time my family learned that lesson. As I headed to my car, another text came through. This one from Dad. Your mother's right. Everyone will know what you did to this family. I typed back a single line. Yes, they will. Because the truth was, I wasn't ashamed anymore. Let them tell their story. I had bank statements, contracts, and 6 years of receipts to tell mine. 2 weeks after moving out, I stood in front of the courthouse, straightening my blazer. No scrubs today. Mia had insisted I dress the part of the professional I was, not the dutiful daughter they'd taken advantage of. Ready? She asked, briefcase in hand. Before I could answer, I heard Katie's voice. Wait. She was hurrying up the courthouse steps, alone, no kids in sight. Of course not. They were probably at her apartment, the one she'd never actually left. Can we talk? She asked, glancing nervously at Mia. Alone? Please, Olivia. Mia touched my arm. 5 minutes. That's all. I'll be inside. Once Mia was gone, Katie's desperate expression melted into something harder. You have to stop this. Do you know what you're doing to Mom and Dad? Interesting, I replied. That's the first time you've mentioned Mom and Dad's well-being. Usually you lead with the kids. She flinched. They're going to lose the house. No, they're going to lose my house. The one I paid for. It was just temporary, she burst out. The money, the transfers, it was just until I got back on my feet. I checked my watch. You've been getting back on your feet for 6 years, Katie. 3 marriages, 3 divorces, and somehow I'm the one paying for it all. I'm your sister. Yes, you are. And you watched me work 60-hour weeks, fall asleep at family dinners, miss holidays because of extra shifts. all while cashing those checks Mom and Dad sent you from my account. Her face crumpled. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry. Fine, I'm sorry. But you've always been the strong one, the successful one. You don't know what it's like to struggle. I laughed then. I couldn't help it. I don't know if it's like to struggle. I've been working since I was 16. Paid my way through nursing school. Worked overtime every week to pay a mortgage on a house I didn't even own. All while you lived rent-free off my paychecks. The courthouse door opened. Mom and Dad emerged with their lawyer, stopping short when they saw us. Inside Katie, Dad commanded, "The judge is waiting." But Katie wasn't moving. She was staring at me like she'd never seen me before. You really won't back down? No, I said quietly, I won't. The hearing was surprisingly short. Mia presented the evidence. Payment records, bank transfers, home repair receipts with inflated costs, proof of Katie's apartment lease. My parents' lawyer tried to argue about verbal agreements and family obligations, but the judge wasn't having it. Let me be clear, the judge said, looking over her glasses at my parents. You collected mortgage payments, maintenance costs, and additional funds under false pretenses. You diverted those funds to another party without disclosure. And you did this to your own daughter while she worked in healthcare during a global pandemic. She shuffled some papers. The property will be transferred to Ms. Olivia Martinez within 30 days. The defendants will vacate the premises within that time frame. Additionally, given the evidence of financial misconduct, the court orders restitution of $47,500 for the fraudulent repair costs and undisclosed fund transfers. We can't pay that. Mom burst out. We don't have that kind of money. Perhaps, the judge replied coldly, you should ask your other daughter. After all, she received the bulk of those funds. Katie went pale. Outside the courthouse, Mia was jubilant, but I felt strangely empty. 6 years of manipulation and lies ended in a 20-minute hearing. Olivia. I turned. Dad stood there, looking older than I'd ever seen him. You've ruined this family, he said, but there was no force behind it. Nope, Dad, you and Mom did that. Every time you chose Katie over honesty. Every time you watched me work myself to exhaustion and demanded more. What are we supposed to do now? Where will we go? The answer came easily. Katie has a 3-bedroom apartment, the one she's had all along. Maybe it's time she supported you for a change. I walked away then, ignoring their calls. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from Katie. I really am sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. I typed back, I know. But sorry doesn't pay back 6 years of lies. 3 days later, I walked through my empty house, legally mine now. My parents had moved out quickly, taking only their personal belongings. In my old room, I found a photo stuck behind the radiator. Me at my nursing school graduation, smiling proudly between Mom and Dad. I pinned it to the wall, not as a reminder of what I'd lost, but of what I'd learned. That family isn't just about blood and obligation. It's about respect, honesty, and reciprocity. Looking around the empty room, I made a decision. The house would be sold. I'd use the money to buy a small condo closer to the hospital, something that was truly mine, with no strings attached. That night, working my usual night shift in the ICU, a colleague asked why I was smiling. Just thinking about home, I said, checking a patient's vitals. Oh right, you moved. How's that going? I thought about the empty house, the court order, the family that had imploded under the weight of their own deceptions. It's quiet, I said. Really quiet. And for the first time in my life, I'm exactly where I need to be.